Do you have any questions for us before we get started?
No, I mean, I'm so amazed of all that you guys are doing. I mean, I'm completely overwhelmed. I cannot imagine how you organize yourselves and worldwide. I mean, it's amazing.
It shows the love that we have for the show and the work that you put into it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really you appreciate it.
So I guess we'll just get started and jump right in. We have lots of questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. Can you give us an introduction with your name and what a production designer does?
Well, my name is Barbara Pérez-Solero, and I'm the production designer in Warrior Nun, season 1 and season 2. Basically, my duty is to go hand with showrunner, helping him to actually build his vision in a way that we can really make it happen. That means everything that visually is on the screen that is not the actors, that's my job. So the vision of the global vision of the project, I normally share it with the showrunner, and he tells me whatever, with the showrunner or director if it's a feature film. And then, you give your improvement you give your hinge, and you take a path and you start working, and basically is the design of the whole of everything that you see on the screen that is not the actors. That means every vehicle, every landscape, every set, every building, every prop, everything that you see on the screen is our department, basically, which is that's why it's a very big, normally, department.
And how did you become a production designer?
Well, I've studied fine arts. I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't had the idea of making movies, of making films, but I was very much involved in the art, contemporary art and the painting world. And that gave me a lot of skills, for as a base, as a very important visual base that I use on all my work. That means that my work is based on painter, architecture, photography, all the arts, not only just film. Then I started in a producer friend of mine told me, you have the character 100% to work in this world. You have to come to a shoot. And then I went to shoot, and she was completely right. That was 30 years ago. And I fall completely in love with this job. And here I am.
I was watching the Big Gay Energy podcast interview with you, and you had talked about how production design teams aren't always like seen on the behind the scenes stuff, but totally. It's true that without you, the show would be pretty visually boring. So we're excited to be able to just show your work and hear about what you do behind the scenes today. How did you get involved in Warrior Nun? Were you approached by Fresco Film or by Simon?
Yes, normally, well, it depends on the project. In this case, Fresco Film introduced like 3 of us to Simon, and Simon chose me. That's what normally happens. I mean, you go through like a kind of a casting, and you have to just see if you understand each other, in a conversation, and to see if your vision is the same, or you could understand well, the other person. And that's how happened. I mean, Fresco introduced me to Simon. We were chatting for a long time, and we immediately got along absolutely fantastic. He's an incredible man, so it's very easy to get along with him. And we share a lot of the vision that we had. And so, I mean, I didn't know anything about the project then, So, but you can understand that it's going to go well, with him. Sometimes it doesn't happen.
I guess following up on that a bit, in terms of like the budget with how that works. So did you bid on the project, or were you brought in and then you negotiate the budget together with everything?
Yes, you don't bid of anything. You are there, and then once you start, they tell you that's what we have. And then you start looking at it and analyzing it and, saying, well, this is not enough, or I think we're going to go, to under in this case or over in this other. And, and it depends how the things go. Also, you have to make decisions that will involve a lot the budget. So that means all the building that you have, or when, in the beginning, they didn't want to do a lot of building, but at the end you have to, because it's a lot of places that is very difficult to do the action, because it's a lot of places that you have to go over and over again, and that's very difficult to hire and to pay, and it's at the end it's very, very expensive, so it's cheaper to build it. So yes, you are very involved with the budget, but you get in the beginning, you get what you get. You cannot say, okay, I want 3 more millions. No, it doesn't work like that.
Also, in the interview that you did, you said that your graphic designer and the set decorator are your two key people on your team.
Yeah. And well, a lot more people, but those two are very special, and my art director also, it's people that helped me from the very beginning in the development of concepts, concept development. Like the graphic designer, he's a very freak and very geek, and so he's very much into manga, and he's very much into so he, in that aspect is very, very good. So I have a more traditional base of visually talking. So when we get together, it's very interesting, because we go linking tick 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 and building. And so it doesn't go or too far in one end or too far in the other end. And I think that's what is interesting, to mix worlds. And that's what we did that's why Warrior Nun is so interesting for us, for our department. We did enjoy every minute of it. Season 1 and season 2, a lot.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the pre-production planning and how you work with the other people under you? Because didn't you say that it was like 50 people at least? Yes.
Well, because this how normally a production that is big or have medium size to big, is you have like 3 different sub department. That means you have construction in one side, then you have all the graphic department and art department, which with all the drafting people, all the set designers, all those people. And then you have the set decorating department, which involves all the set decorating. That means all the furniture. So, normally we have 2 big warehouse, one with construction, the other one with set decorating. One contains all the props and and then props, which is another big department, which with all the hand props and all the objects, all the things that they are very, very important, and they are involved in a lot of scenes. They play, they are involved in stand scenes. So it's quite a big department. So normally what the normal my normal, way of working. It's you start thinking and researching. In this case, I liked, as I said in the other interview, I like a lot of this project to blend the two worlds, the ancient world and the future world, the world of what is after behind the ring, and the portal behind the portal, and all this technological world. So in the beginning, in the first season, it was very, very nice to have this contrast. I had it very clear in my head. So the first thing I do is like put together like a Bible of images that for me says, okay, this is for me is OCS, this is for me at tech. And that was my Bible in the beginning. So with all these pictures of the world, with all these demons and these religious things in one side, and all these metallic and glass and things is leaky, very, 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 very minimal in the other, so they were completely different worlds, very, very beautiful worlds, both of them, and very nice to combine them. And so that's what I do. The first thing is to put together this Bible, so everyone in my team knows what I have in my head. Then you have to approach one by one. You have to do a breakdown of all the sets. And in this case, the first thing it was the iconic things. So that means the cross, who they are. That cross, it was very important, very, very important, because it played for a big role for all the rest of the seasons. It was difficult. That was difficult because everything has been made already in crosses. There is so many million of crosses, different crosses of so many millions of different Catholics, Baptists. So many. And so that was actually, the cross was based on a mechanical piece of a motorcycle that I liked it. And so I thought it was really, really interesting. So I sent it to the graphic designer, and we started, and we ended up with a cross. That was that was the OCS cross. And well, that was some things like that. They are very iconic for the serial. You have to approach it in the beginning, so you have it, because then you have to give it to wardrobe, to costumes, so they can embroider it, and they can. So my graphic designer, he was developing all that for them too. And then you start with this breaking down. You start set by set, seeing what you really need to do. And if it was drawing it, we normally do a concept drawing of every set, and and you just approach it. Sometimes you have to build on top of a set that is already there, but you have to modify, or you have to just get involved with it, or just change furniture, or change color of the walls, or change, it depends. And that involves one part of your team, which is like construction. And then the set decorating comes later to refurnish with whatever is needed. Some other times the set, it doesn't exist. You have to create it from scratch. That means that you have to think about it, and then you start drawing it, and with the set designers, and you start working about what they need, because really we need to be prepared for the people, for the directors. We are a weapon for the director. We really need to give the director whatever he wants, and whatever he has in his head to shoot with, So like that means if he wants to do a shot from behind, and there is a wall, and that wall, you need to remove that wall. So you have to know all these movements to prepare the set so it works well for the actual shooting. So it's prepared to be lit, it's prepared with photography department is very, very important. You know, the link, how do you work with them? I normally work very, very closely with them because it's one, you know, I mean, we can help each other a lot, and it's the same vision that we need to share.
That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
The motorcycle thing is so cool. Like, I'm not gonna get over that for a while.
Yeah, I would have had no idea. I wouldn't have
That's-
guessed that.
Yeah, people are gonna love that.
Yes, I
Um,
mean, it's good that normally it's not a department that we are on the making of, or we don't appear a lot of times, but it's true that it's a big I mean, without us, it's very, they will not be able to shoot. I mean, without the set, you know, whatever it is. So yes, and it's a really big department with a lot involving. You know, if one actor smokes, that's us. You have to provide the cigarettes. You have to see, you know, if they eat food, that's us. So that means cooking, hiring chefs, and a lot of. So it's a very big, very vague and very big department.
very detailed for sure. When it comes to like the searching and selection of filming locations, I know Simon talked about how you guys sort of were stuck in Spain in a lot of ways, budget wise. What was that process like, finding the spaces, the buildings, and all of that?
Well, normally there is a location department that that starts almost as, I mean, I am the first, the production designer is the first person that starts the project with the director or with the showrunner and the producer. You know, they are thinking creatively about places that they think that could work, you know, locally or wherever it is, wherever is decided. In this case, Simon went before I was engaged. He went to Malaga, and they showed him like a very nice church, which is the OCS church, and which is a college. That was one of your questions. I think it's called the Colegiata de Antequera. Colegiata. I can write it if you want later. It's a big church that is in this little town in Malaga. And it's a town with a lot of churches, and that's one church that is not sacralized. So that means there is no cult on it. So there is no masses or Baptist or nothing. So you can use it for other purpose that is not sacred. So it was good for us because they were going to rent it for, you know, we could hire for a long time. It's like 6 months. So we could, and the first time when I started, that's a very incredible story. So they showed me, Simon and the producer, Spanish producer from Fresco, they showed me this church. So we went there, and I said, well, it's a beautiful church, but it's all white, completely white. And I said, this is not going to work because, at the end, we're going to have a show that is, with all the background, with all the actors, is going to be all white, and it's so huge. It was really, really huge. You cannot, you cannot manage to fulfill the walls. So I said, I need to paint it. So they look at me because it's really tall. It was 17 meters high, which is a lot. So they look at me like this woman is completely crazy. And I said, yes, we can do it. So we had to really start with the bureaucracy of permissions and permits, talking to Spanish heritage, showing them what exactly I wanted to do, showing them which type of paint I wanted to use. I wanted to do all these frescoes in the first season of all the story of the warriors. And I said, well, it would be beautiful instead of in paintings, let's do it in the wall. So it was all this story in the wall about so it was really beautiful. And I said, let's do it. So I will use like we print paper, and then when we put it, we apply it, and then we paint it over. And well, we did some, and we showed them, you know, the heritage, the Spanish heritage, that we were not going to damage the building. And so that's what we did. That was a huge, beautiful job that I was very, very proud. And so at the end, we had all these beautiful ochre and all these frescoes on the walls for the OCS.
That's so
That
cool.
was yeah.
So you have to go do the permits yourself.
No, that's location who does it.
Okay.
But in some cases, they are very technical questions, they want location wants us to go to the meeting because we are able to explain exactly, you know, because we need to send like a form, you know, explaining exactly what is the components of the paint and how, and we did a test, you know, and we show them the test and we play. So, you know, it's very, very technical. So location normally is, location will just ask the permit to shoot. But in this case, we had to we had to go with them to explain how was the method that we were going to use to be able to do that.
And what kind of time frame was that to get that permit?
Well, we didn't have that much time because, you know, I needed to do it with, I needed to paint them, you know, because it was a story. So it was nothing out there that I could use to just, you know, picture it and put it there. I needed to recreate it from zero. So we didn't have a lot of time. I'm telling you, we had like, I don't know, maybe 6-7 weeks. 5 weeks, something like that. Very, very short. Yes. It was a minute. Yes, it was. I had an incredible painter that's now retired. He retired after the second two. And he's an incredible man. He can do anything. I mean, he can do it for just by himself. He doesn't need anyone. I mean, he's really fast and really experienced, and it was great. He did an incredible job.
So you painted the church, and did you have to return it back to like being
Yes.
white, or is it still you have
Yes.
to? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So you know, and they keep the tourists. The one thing that had to be like that, it was that we needed to let the tourists go inside, you know, to see it. So they went inside. They didn't understand nothing because, you know, we had all these warrior things and, you know, all this weaponry in the so they were, what a strange word. So it was fun for them to see it. It was fun for them, and, you know, they all got the explanation. We were shooting a film, and so they all understood.
So the time frame that you were in the church from pre-production to when it wrapped,
Yeah,
what was that time frame?
that was I think it was 17 weeks shoot, or 16 weeks shoot, and plus 4 prep for
Okay.
the church, you know. So it was a long period. Normally, it's very difficult to get a building like that for that duration. It was really extraordinary. I mean, we were very, very lucky.